I believe the long tail of influence, personal brand, I believe every human is about to be the small business.
Yes.
Just like there's 8 trillion small businesses, not everyone becomes fucking Verizon and BMW.
Yeah.
But there's 1 trillion small businesses. I believe the small businessification of personal brand, the micro influencers, it's real as fuck.
And personal branding is
And so
critically
this is why
important.
when someone who's so inspiring and doing it says, I've got this flash in the pan, I got this 15 minutes, I like to jump in because I need these people listening, especially the 1 million that will listen to this podcast over the next 12 months, to understand this is not a miracle. This is not far-fetched. The internet is at a scale now.
Yeah.
Distribution of information is in a place with social. Algorithms you could have never done what you did if TikTok wasn't around.
No.
I was there when Facebook and Twitter and YouTube was the case. You had to build a list and then people would see. It did take 4 years.
Yeah.
Now, one post.
You
Because
can
of
be
the way,
viral. Because of that explore page.
Go ahead. So
I end up quitting my job. I bank $100,000 in cash, and
Give you a
I'm
little
like,
time.
that's my
Nest
parachute
egg.
money.
Yep.
Didn't need it.
for
I
you.
end up crushing it, and last year, I think the reported number, what we actually collected was probably close to like 4 million
Makes
in terms
sense.
of revenue for the company.
Yep. What are the revenue streams?
So obviously we've got just the platforms paying us little to nothing.
Right.
Brand partnerships is a huge
Real
chunk.
thing. Yep.
Book advance. I got a pretty
Yep.
healthy advance.
Makes sense.
Podcast ads.
Yep.
Great.
Makes sense.
I do quite a bit of speaking.
Love.
And then right now in the works, we're working on some TV stuff.
Good for you.
Yeah.
On the speaking part, just because I'm always business developing, you should definitely talk to Vayner speakers. You may be thrilled with who you're talking to, but we're really crushing.
I love that.
What's the book about, and why should everybody who's listening buy it? Because I genuinely, obviously we have some mutual friends, but I can't comprehend anyone listening to the last 20 minutes not realizing that you are wildly sharp as fuck and super capable. So I'm gonna assume, because I continue to, it's scary to me what I put in day trading attention for like $20. Like literally companies pay me $500,000 for an hour of what I put in this book for $20. I continue to believe now that books are like the weirdest, best deal in the world.
Yes.
Because people like ourselves don't want to write a shitty book because it's pride.
Yes.
And then thus rendering the content very valuable.
Yeah.
And the cost is nothing.
Correct.
So my intuition is that every person that listens to this podcast ever should buy it based on you. So I guess that's how I buy books, even though I don't buy books. That's how I would buy books because I don't read them, but that's how I would process if I was a reader. The hypocrisy of kids being mad at their parents when they're on the payroll blows my mind.
You can't.
If they pay, they have say.
And it's why I told my parents they could not
good. I agree.
contribute to my wedding.
Love.
Because I was like, you can't tell me which band to pick. You can't
Good for
tell me
you.
what appetizers. Nothing.
It's a
Nothing.
very real thing.
Yeah.
It's the best decision I made too when I
Yeah.
was a kid. And way too many people are such fucking hypocrites. They literally complain about their parents are involved and they meddle. And the only reason your parents have any leverage, besides you love them and you want to like,
Is the payroll.
is the payroll. Get off
Yeah.
the fucking payroll. So got it. You went to this great school. You were obviously a good student. You knew you wanted to be off the payroll and you wanted to have independence. And you're like, cool, finance also. If I crush, it can get real
lucrative. Yeah.
And let me consider that. You get into a couple years and you just realize there was other things you wanted to scratch.
Not so much that,
No?
but I think a lot of us joined.
Did you like it?
I did at the beginning.
Makes
I had a
sense.
really great mentor, really great manager. As Wall Street shakeups do happen, the head of my desk ended up getting let go, brought in a completely new guy, fired half the team. So suddenly the team looks very different. Then I end up getting assigned to a new manager who
It didn't click.
it didn't click, but also he made some real nasty comments.
I
Things
see.
like, you're too girly to be here, and didn't like how my nails click-clacked on the keyboard, didn't like,
Oh, so like really went old school that way.
very old school, and like...
And you're like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, like I shouldn't have to put up with that. Like I know how smart I am. I
Yep.
know what I can bring to the table. And like, that's the bare minimum, right? Like you
I
shouldn't say
agree.
shit like that to me
I
at
agree.
work.
So right. So
I'm
you're like,
out.
fuck you, I have options.
Yeah.
You decided the jeans, let me see what the BuzzFeed's
Yeah.
selling, this, that.
Yeah.
When you get there, a bunch of kids, and because you were in an environment that did have financial literacy, now you got a real look at the broader world. And you're
Everybody
like-
else.
And you're like, fuck, no one knows shit.
Nobody knows anything.
Right. And obviously tongue in cheek, this is annoying, I'm getting asked a lot, let me make some videos for y'all. You also, because you were at BuzzFeed and because you're a human in society at this point, you knew that, and maybe some of this content will click and it may open up other opportunities and doors.
Not even. I really made this as like hey, this is going to be like a fun little passion project my friends are going to watch.
But you are smart enough to know.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are making content of like fantasy sports and like I can buy, but I can't buy, back to your point of like, fuck you, I have options, don't make fun of my clicking, that you had to know, and some of these may click and it may lead for things for me to think about.
I think
it had to be in the back of your head. You weren't delusional.
Yes, a tiny piece of my mind was like, maybe my content goes amazingly viral and this can become something, but I certainly wasn't
there's a point
banking on this.
That I respect.
Yeah.
But I think it's the biggest point I want to make to the audience watching live on Twitch. By the way, podcast, if you want to watch these things live, twitch.tv/Garyvee, EE. But like the point I'm making is I believe it is, let me use an interesting term. I believe that it is grossly negligent as a human in society today to not post videos around your singular either knowledge base or passion base.
Yeah.
I think it makes borderline no sense. I'm aware of insecurity and worried about what people look like, worried about negative comments, mental health. Like if you get most people don't have enough self-esteem to deal with the no views, or I know why people don't do it.
Yeah.
But I believe it's insane.
There's just so much opportunity there.
Correct. And this window's real. And like the fact that like, I also think that people like things. People like Star Trek. People like the Avengers. People like wine. People like bourbon. People like cooking. People like
but here's
people
the
like
other
things.
Thing.
Please.
There are influencers that are truly influencing and their brand is themselves, which I think is so incredibly challenging. These are people like the Alex Earls, the Tinkses of the world. But for all the rest of us, I don't have to put every single personal detail about myself out there. To your point, knowledge base or passion base, it's such an easy way to get into this world that so many people, what is it, the stat is like students or children like 15 to 18 right now, like 50% of them want to be YouTubers. More. This is how you get it.
As a matter of fact, I think the people that are living their lives like reality TV will continue to decline because that is the hardest game.
Correct.
Once you give the world your life, you don't have one.
And it gets picked apart.
I am wildly out there for the last 17 years. For the last 17 years, I have posted on the internet every day.
Yeah.
I am out there. I have plenty of followers. I don't post anything about my personal life.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people think you have to go there.
Yeah.
I've never posted my children in my life. People don't realize you're in full control.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason I wanted to rant on that is I just love that you had a knowledge base.
Yep.
You did some stuff, and here you are with like an iconic book. Like you have options now. Whether you want to, like, I just like optionality.
Yeah, agreed. It's freedom. It's
freedom.
Choice. The same reason why you want to have money. The same reason why you want to have.
How fast did the first when was the first? So you started posting where?
Yes.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
TikTok.
Okay.
First video, January 1st, 2021. First 7 hours, I think the video got 7 views. Then that night, I'm watching a movie with my now fiance, and my phone starts to get like hot. You know, like when your phone just starts to overheat.
My phone's always hot.
Right, exactly. Phone starts buzzing off the hook. Like, I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, that's weird. I have 7,000 followers. That's way more followers than I have on my personal Instagram. And like, I'm like, I don't even know if I know that many people.
So real talk, that's insane.
Yes.
Real talk, you're one of those people I talked about 6-7 years ago for TikTok that literally actually first video hit.
First video went viral.
And by the way, for everyone who's watching and listening, that game is not as real now.
No, it's not.
It's always supply and demand of attention, like I've talked about. This is why oh, by the way, let's do a plug. Day Trading Attention coming out this summer. This is the one, but this is the game. You were, back to your background.
Yeah.
You were day trading attention.
Correct.
So literally the first one hit.